Good warm morning and welcome to the homestead. Sunday morning, I don't know, 10 o'clock, probably already 90 degrees. And you can see we found something. So we found a, heck, I don't even know what year it is. It's either 94, 95, or 96. It's one of those three. Regular cab, long bed, 12 valve Cummins, parts truck. We'll show you when we get it off the truck, but the killer dowel pin got this motor. It fell down through the gears, sheared the keyway on the crank, which then in turn threw the motor out of time. Some valves hit some pistons, bent some push rods. I don't think there's really anything really wrong with the engine other than that, but low mileage, 170,000 miles, complete spare running gear. So we went ahead and we went out this morning and picked it up. So we're going to go ahead and unstrap it and get it unloaded. We're going to get it towed up there somewhere by the car where you can kind of probably, if you walk this way, you can see that we're getting close to finishing our rattle can paint job on the Dodge. So maybe we'll talk about that in another video, but we've just decided that it needed enough sheet metal and enough different things, and we know we want to put another frame under it, that we just went ahead and did a rattle can paint job on it, so it's all one color until we get it right, and then we'll get it painted. So as soon as we get that finished, we'll get this in the garage and we'll get it stripped out, parted out, and then we'll decide, you know, exactly what we're doing, if this frame is good enough to go get it sandblasted, or if we need to keep looking for a frame. We can find rust-free stuff in Florida all day long. The problem in Florida is there's not a lot of four-wheel drive stuff. So we need a frame to start with, and then we can build from there, of course. We've gotten pretty good metal. The body's a little beat up still. We will probably find a better body in Florida just because. But yeah, that's where we're at. So we're using our new US cargo straps. I really like these straps for strapping down vehicles, especially on cars, because you don't have to get under the car and hook to it. You just put the strap over the tire and ratchet it down. But you can see, you can see it's got the tire bowed right in. They bite right in. These work well, so real happy with that. And yeah, we're gonna undo these. We're gonna go find the tractor, and Sue will probably get you set up somewhere and ready and watch you. She's gonna pull me off the trailer and pull me up beside the garage somewhere. So why don't you give us a second, we'll get undone here and we'll bring you right back. So it's off the trailer, and you can see the previous owner tore it apart to find out how much damage had been done, and that's when he gave up. He lost hope on it. Really all it needs is a handful of push rods. The push rods that go in the side here, it bent 2 or 3 of those. You can see if you look down in here, well, actually you can see it right there. You can see where the valve hit the piston, but everything is square in these, so I don't even think it bent any valves or anything. But you can also see these 12 valves are notorious for head gasket seepage. And one of the things that I see a lot is people buy aftermarket head gaskets instead of OEM. And you see how little head gasket there is right here? This is where, right on this front corner is where they all tend to seep. And you can see that one there. You know, this one is pretty dry. The one in Rusty down there is actually seeping right there. And there's another one on the back that's similar. Right there, that's water, and you can see that's fairly close there, but not as close as this one right here. So that's the common leak point on these things. But this motor, I think, has, if I remember correctly, it's 170,000 miles on it. You see there's no ridge at all. You don't see the cross hatching in it anymore, but there's no ridge. I think this will be a really good donor motor to potentially start a build for old Rusty in the future. I think our plan anyways, and we'll see, we don't, you know, it is what it is, but I think our plan is to get a frame sandblasted, epoxy painted and everything else, and start putting it back together. And the two things in old Rusty that aren't brand new are the motor and the transmission. So we'll probably go through a motor and go through a transmission and stuff in old Rusty. And now we got a spare transfer case. So you saw we have the 2 transfer case kits. We'll rebuild this, throw it on the shelf. I'll have a spare case. Just a lot of spare parts. Vacuum pump, power steering pump, you know, timing cover. There's a brand new injection pump, because when this quit, the owner thought that the injection pump blew up. So he bought a brand new injection pump and had it hauled to a repair facility, and was going to have them put the pump on. And that's when they found that the killer dowel pin had happened. And you can see if you come around here, there's a hole right here where my fingernail is. It's supposed to be an alignment pin in the block. So this aluminum timing cover slides on over that pin. What happens is that pin vibrates out and falls down in this gear train. I'd say probably like 75% of the time what happens is it rides down through here, splits this case, and then falls down in the oil pan. No ill effects, you just have an oil leak. In this case, it came down through, walked the cam gear off, wedged up and sheared the keyway off on the crank gear, which is what made everything, you know, run into everything. But either way, we don't know what we'll do as far as if we'll use this, if we won't use it. But it's a decent parts truck. The frame's in good shape. The only issue at all in the frame, which is very common on these Dodge frames, is this frame horn in front of everything up here. All the stuff collects in that hole right there, and it rusts that out. Everything else looks pretty good. So when we do a tear down on it, we'll evaluate the whole frame, and if we feel it's worthy of, you know, blasting and epoxy painting, we'll get that done. We'll of course weld some patches in that over here on that end. But this on the surface looks like a lot better frame than old Rusty has. Cab definitely not any better, but you know, a lot of spare parts. The windshield wiper motor, the windshield wiper arms, just a lot of good parts. The hood is no good. There's a hole rusted right through the hood, but the hood hinges seem good. The door hinges are actually really tight on this, and if you come around here in the shade, you see it's got one really good door. No rust at all on that door. So yeah, that'll make somebody a good door. We'll put that on Marketplace. And if you come around the door, it's got a ruby red interior. We will not be using that, but this has got a good dash, got good door panels. And here's the factory injection pump down here. This piece here is your injection pump. And like I said, we got a brand new one in the shop. And then you got your push rods. And see, that one's pretty straight. I don't know which one's bent. Ah, there's a bent one. See, it's not supposed to look like that. So that's what makes me think everything's okay. The head itself is massively rugged. The pistons are massively rugged. Usually those don't have a problem. You can see that over here. See if you guys can back up without falling over. But this is the head over here. I think it's 140 pounds, I think somebody said. And you can see the valves that hit the piston because they're shiny, but see, the valves are square in the head, so I don't think it hurt anything. What I'll probably do is send this head off to the machine shop and have it checked, planed, cleaned, or whatever. Probably put a new set of valves in it. But yeah, that's about it. I think we'll wrap this up. Maybe we'll bring you along for a little bit of a teardown, and we'll see where we go. I think we're probably gonna unhook the trailer and set in the AC for a little while. I think it's probably 90 degrees already out, and it's only about 11 o'clock now, so we'll probably find something to eat and relax, and maybe tomorrow we'll have old Rusty in the garage and we'll get the other side painted. Maybe we'll bring you along for that, show you how that comes out, give you a tour of Rusty. But you can see from here, you guys kind of look down there, from 100 feet, Rusty looks pretty good.
On this side.
Hey, I painted my side. No, all kidding aside, you know, we do have some metal on there, like the passenger's door, absolutely rust free, but the forklift ran into the door and put a dent in it. The body itself has zero rust, absolutely zero rust. But somebody changed the passenger side panel because it was in a wreck, and that panel has a couple dents in it. So we're probably going to be looking in Florida, because even we can buy a body in Florida for I think $125 if I remember right, and for another $100 they'll pull it and put it on our trailer for us or whatever. So we're probably going to watch for that. And a passenger's door, everything else is really good. So our goal this winter, I think, is to find the rest of the sheet metal and do a little bit of body work that needs to be done on the rest of the sheet metal and get it ready for a professional paint job, and then find a frame that we can build on. And probably we'll take this front and rear end, if it's the right gear ratio, and we'll probably go through the, you know, the housings, new carrier bearings, new pinion bearings, check the ring and pinion, and we'll probably build those up and then put our brakes and stuff on that and our free spin kit on the front end and get those under the frame and just kind of build our way up through. I mean, our goal is to make sure that old Rusty has 0 parts on it that have 300,000 miles on them. Our goal is, at the end of the day, when we start going down the road on Rusty, is to make sure that we've touched everything and we have a brand new truck. Because when we head out through to Moab or wherever we want to go, we want to know that we've done everything we can to make Rusty, you know, as trustworthy as possible, even though I'd probably trust it way farther than I would a brand new truck. But you just can't buy these trucks anymore. Everything is so computerized and governmentalized, all these nanny things we have to have and whatnot. And we get better fuel mileage, we have more power, it's like, why do we want to get rid of that?
And we don't have to worry about the DEF fuel shortage.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about the DEF additive diesel exhaust fluid. Whether there's a shortage or not, we don't have to worry about it. And we also don't have $1,000 a month truck payment, and we don't have a high insurance premium. We just keep liability on old Rusty. If we get T-boned and somebody doesn't have insurance, well, we'll rebuild her. That's why we're collecting all these parts. It's kind of fun. You get to get dirty, have a little fun, you learn what makes these things tick. And the deeper you get into these, the more comfortable you get with doing it. And you understand how it ticks. Like, you could see that engine there, and you can see some of the stuff we've done to Rusty's engine, and you start to understand where, like, you wouldn't be that fearful of changing an injection pump in a campground or something if you had to on one of these. It's, once you start to understand the mechanics of it, it makes it a little less stressful for you. And for me anyways, when I'm traveling, my concern is always, what happens if X breaks? And if I don't know how to fix X, or I don't have the ability to fix X, I'm at the mercy of a garage I don't know. So the more you know, the more you can do yourself, or the more you can also, like, know what's going on. So if you're out in the middle of Utah and you blow a input shaft on your transmission, if you've put the clutch in yourself before, you know that it's a 4 or 5 hour project, or whatever that number is. So if you find a shop that says that's going to take 4 days, then you know something's wrong. They're trying to take advantage of you, because usually when they find out you're not around that area, and it's not a blanket statement, but some shops will take advantage of you if you're on the road. We have a friend that had an old Ford diesel, and it quit in, like, I think South Carolina, North Carolina, South Carolina, and he was hauling his camper, and the shop's like, well, you need a new motor, you need this, you need that, and he decided to take and get somebody else to finish hauling his camper to Florida, tow his truck to a shop somewhere, and think about it. And when he called another place, it sounds like the injection pump, and that's $500, $600, whatever, and he changed it himself, and the truck ran great. So it's good if you know some of the mechanics of your own vehicle, even if you're not doing the work, because then you know that you're getting what you pay for. You're not getting taken advantage of. I mean, and that's, again, not real common, but it does happen in the auto world, so, or any world for that matter. Anyways, I've rambled enough. Why don't we wrap this up, and we'll bring you back when we start tearing new Rusty apart. How's that? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.